Hey guys, just came to my garage here. There it is. So basically home just now backed in. So my goal is to just monitor the temperature while I could see how long the video is. And this will tell me how quickly the engine is heating up, if any. And I'm kind of like wondering what is the limits where it's gonna rise. So currently this is what the dash looks like right now. So got a quarter fuel left, obviously that's no problem, but you could see my temperature gauge is slightly below half, which is fine. But today I've seen it as much as 237. So if you hear me say 1, that means I'm really saying like 2. So 237 degrees while I was stopped in traffic. I was in direct sunlight. Right now I'm kind of like in the shade because of all these trees. But I have not shut the vehicle down since then. I have not done anything. It's just being in that traffic. I was just like, just dead still, at a light. And like not a lot of cars was passing through. And I got stuck there I think 3 times at the same light. And once I passed the light, I was still stuck at another light. Basically, I didn't even go anywhere. It was just like the same light. Again, stuck twice. So looking at it and seeing that it's like 137 was really, really concerning. Because I'm thinking like, okay, well, where does it stop? 137 was the highest that it went to. Still, the center gauge was at center. I would have never even noticed that if I would have not have an external gauge like this. So now I've been idling for 2 minutes and it's only being at 223 degrees. It doesn't seem bad. It doesn't seem like that concerning. But the normal operating temperature is between 195 and 220. So at this point, it's slightly above the normal range, but it could be easily explained due to the fact that it's only distilled water in the system versus it having a proper radiator fluid. But also it can be an air pocket, because if there's an air pocket, fluid cannot be properly circulated with the water pump just because it's going to be spinning air. So in that situation, it's going to be pretty bad. So now it's nearly 3 minutes and we're seeing 225. So how long am I going to be parked here to actually see the numbers switch? Now at night, of course, with the temperatures being like 66 degrees, stuff like that, it would not go above 217 while parked. Of course, I was not sitting long enough to find out, but it was just like normal, like 117, and that's good. But I want to see if it's going to go back up to 137, and especially if it will go above 137, and how long will it actually take for it to get there. So right now, obviously, things are moving along kind of slowly. So without turning the vehicle off, let me show you the outside. We'll pop it open so you can see no leaks. This is the brand new overflow thing that I purchased. I can see the water being raised right there. There is some bubbles inside. So it's filled how it's supposed to be. Well, it's not cool, so it's above the cool temperature. Oh, wait a minute, that's just bubbles. So the liquid is actually right there. It's the yellow stuff. But boy, this looks like water level, Like I was thinking, like, okay, like why is it 2 different colors? But you can clearly see it's at a cold level right there. So this radiator was recently fixed using the radiator repair type of kit, you know, the fluid that you pour inside, and it basically seals any type of leaks. As you can see, it's a little bit whitish. It's because it was leaking there, and it's sealed fine. In a later video, I will be doing a pressure test to see if the radiator will become unsealed after I apply 15 psi of pressure, and then I want to see how long will it take for it to hold. Now, going inside, as you could clearly see, it's still 225 despite me opening up the hood. So that's good. And we're about like 6 minutes here. What I will do in a different video is I'm going to apply pressurize the system to then find out, like, okay, will the radiator unseal itself once I apply 15 psi of pressure? And if it will unseal itself, that's obviously a really bad sign, and it means that I need to just go ahead and replace the radiator immediately, okay? And I do have a brand new radiator. Now, if it will not unseal itself, I'm going to say, well, you know, why give myself all this extra work? I mean, I do have, like external temperature gauge. I will then just drain all the radiator fluid for now, drain all of it. Well, drain all the water, distilled water, and then replace it with radiator fluid. And then also I will add a thermostat to the system. And part of the reason I want to do it this way, that if there's any problems that's going to occur with the thermostat and it's going to start overheating, it will cause this old radiator to start leaking versus my new one. And I don't want to really ruin the new one at this point. But I will apply vacuum to the radiator system, and I will pull out any potential air pockets that's in there, and then refill it obviously properly with radiator fluid while applying vacuum. But at this point, like, I mean, this 225 is not concerning to me whatsoever. It's staying stuck there, and we've been here 7 minutes and 38 seconds. So yeah, not a big deal. So normally, if there would be an issue, obviously it would start overheating already by like maybe like in 3 minutes. It starts overheating. Could even be less. But at this point, this is all I got right now. It's almost kind of like surprising that it did get to 237. So I was just with the client, so I wasn't going to try to record the system or let anybody know that there's any potential issues. But I know like where my temperature gauge is, and monitoring it, I could shut my vehicle down in time, and I could think of something, you know, for it not to overheat. I do believe it will start the temperature gauge over there will only start rising once the temperature is 245 degrees. Once it reaches that point, then I believe it will rise. So I wanted to check that to see if that's really the case or not. You know, because I was thinking like, okay, what if it will start rising and it will just go above 237? But I'm going to only do this test for 10 minutes. I think beyond that, it's a little bit boring. But really, to be honest with you guys, I did just have this issue, and I just now drove home like 1 hour. It cools down just fine in the highway, but I think maybe just being out in the sun where the sun is shining directly onto it, you know, and it's kind of like warm outside. It was like 80. The fans was not able to cool it down enough. So right now it's 225. So I guess once I do my test and find out if my radiator is leaking and use actual radiator fluid, I will also monitor the temperature to see where it's gonna go and see what the highest in 10 minutes is for that one. In similar weather conditions, because I'm gonna be doing it today. So temperature is 78 degrees, so it's 225, so not that concerning right now. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.